What if the most powerful medicine cabinet in history isn't the one in your bathroom right now, but the one we abandoned nearly 100 years ago? Today, we are reopening a forgotten medical archive from 1926 to reclaim the natural, potent wisdom that was systematically erased. And the final revelation we uncover might just be the missing link to your vitality. This isn't just about nostalgia. It is about a specific book that was once the Bible of American medicine. The 1926 United States Dispensatory. Back then, 75% of all remedies were natural, derived from plants, roots, and minerals. Today, that ratio has flipped, and our medicine is almost entirely synthetic. We traded wisdom for patents. And in doing so, we lost the protocols that heal the root cause rather than just masking the symptoms. We are going to walk through 7 of these lost protocols. We will start with simple foundational shifts, move into powerful pain relievers, and finally, we will reveal revelation number 1, a game-changing strategy for your immune system and longevity that was once used at massive dosages, but has been suppressed to a fraction of its potential today. You need to stick around for that final revelation because it challenges everything you've been told about how much of this vital nutrient you actually need to stay out of the nursing home. Just a quick important reminder. All the information shared today is for educational purposes. Everyone's health situation is unique, so please consult your doctor or healthcare provider before making any significant changes to your diet, exercise, or health regimen, especially if you have pre-existing conditions or are on medication. Let's use this knowledge to have informed discussions with them. Now, let's open the archives and begin with essential insight number 7, which addresses a problem almost everyone over 60 faces, yet is almost always treated incorrectly. How many of you have been told that your heartburn, indigestion, or bloating is caused by an excess of stomach acid? This is perhaps the single most pervasive medical myth affecting seniors today. We experience the burning sensation of acid reflux, and logic tells us we must have an overflow of acid. So, the standard approach is to take antacids or proton pump inhibitors to turn the acid off. However, the 1926 dispensatory understood something that modern convenience often ignores. As we age, our stomach acid production naturally drops. It doesn't rise. When you have low stomach acid, the valve at the top of your stomach doesn't receive the signal to close tightly enough, allowing the little acid you do have to splash up into the esophagus. To truly grasp why this happens, let's use an analogy. Imagine your stomach is a garbage disposal unit. If you have plenty of water, representing the acid, and the blades are spinning fast, the food is pulverized and washed away instantly. But if you have just a trickle of water, the food sits there, rots, creates gas, and eventually backs up into the sink. Taking an antacid, when you have naturally low acid, is like turning off the water in that disposal unit completely. It stops the splash for a moment, effectively stopping the pain, but it leaves the food to rot, creating malnutrition and more bloating later. The solution from 1926 was betaine hydrochloride, betaine HCl, and pepsin. These aren't acid blockers, they are acid enablers. Back then, doctors prescribed betaine HCl to actually acidify the stomach. This ensures that proteins are broken down. Minerals like calcium are actually absorbed, preventing that bone loss we all fear, and that the valve to your esophagus snaps shut like a bank vault. It is a counterintuitive approach, but for many, restoring the stomach's natural acidity is the key to finally stopping the garbage disposal from backing up. Once we have the digestion working, we need to look at how the body cleans itself, which brings us to strategy number 6. Did you know that in the 1920s, maintaining the flow of the body's internal fluids was considered the primary way to prevent disease? Today, we tend to wait until we are severely constipated or toxic before we act. We let our systems become stagnant. In the world of the 1926 dispensatory, stasis was the enemy. They understood that a stagnant body, much like a stagnant pond, breeds algae and disease, whereas a flowing river remains clear and supports life. Modern laxatives can be incredibly harsh. They act like dynamite, blowing up a dam. They force the body to purge, often causing cramping and dependency. However, the old wisdom relied on gentler, nourishing oils. specifically olive oil and castor oil. Now, when it comes to using oils for digestion, it's especially important for us to approach it with awareness. If you have a sensitive stomach or history of gallbladder issues, start with very small amounts. Listen to your body. Olive oil was used not just for cooking, but as a mild therapeutic to stimulate bile flow. When you consume healthy fats, your gallbladder contracts, pushing bile, which is your body's natural soap, into the intestines. And then there is castor oil. They used it to stimulate peristalsis, the rhythmic pumping of the colon. It doesn't just flush you, it penetrates deep into the tissues. Used topically, it was also a go-to for dermatitis and skin inflammation. Therefore, by incorporating these healthy oils, you aren't just treating constipation. You are keeping the river of your lymphatic and digestive systems moving, preventing the stagnation that leads to toxicity. So, that's our digestive foundation. But if you're looking to take things a step further, our next ancient secret, number 5, delves into the nervous system, touching on anxiety and sleep. What if I told you that the soda 7-Up originally contained a mood-stabilizing drug that was standard medicine for anxiety? We live in an era of high stress and fragmented sleep, and the modern solution is often a heavy sedative or a benzodiazepine, which can leave us groggy and increased fall risk. Back in 1926, they relied on mineral salts to calm the nervous system. One of the most famous was lithium carbonate, which was actually in the original recipe for 7-Up, then called lithiate lemon lime soda. The slogan was, "Take the ouch out of the grouch." Now, medical lithium is a heavy drug used for bipolar disorder, but in trace mineral amounts, lithium is a natural element that stabilizes mood. Think of your nervous system like the electrical wiring in your house. If the voltage is too high, the lights flicker and bulbs blow out, manifesting as anxiety or insomnia. Minerals like lithium and magnesium sulfate, better known as Epsom salts, act as the grounding wire. They don't cut the power. They safely channel the excess energy into the earth, so the house stays lit but calm. The dispensatory lists magnesium sulfate as a premier remedy for relaxing muscles, easing nerve pain, and calming the mind. While we don't drink lithiated soda anymore, many people are rediscovering lithium orotate, a low-dose mineral supplement, and transdermal magnesium in the form of baths or sprays. Therefore, instead of sedating the brain with synthetics, we are simply providing the raw minerals the nervous system needs to ground itself, allowing for deep, restorative sleep and a calmer demeanor. Now that we are grounded, let's look at key strategy number 4, which addresses a vital concern for maintaining energy and preventing frailty: the blood itself. Anemia isn't just about being a little tired. For seniors, it's the difference between independence and frailty. Modern treatments for anemia often involve synthetic iron pills that are notoriously hard to digest, causing constipation and stomach upset. We take them, we feel sick, and often our levels barely budge. The 1926 Dispensatory didn't rely on synthetic rocks. They used liver extract. They understood that anemia isn't always just an iron problem. It's a complexity problem. Imagine trying to bake a cake, which represents building red blood cells. Synthetic iron is like having 50 bags of flour but no eggs, sugar, or oven. You simply can't make the cake. However, liver extract provides the flour, the eggs, B12, the sugar, folate, and the oven heme iron all in one package. It is nature's multivitamin, perfectly bioavailable. Liver extract was the gold standard because it contained the intrinsic factor needed to absorb B12, something that diminishes as we age. While eating organ meats has fallen out of fashion, the wisdom remains valid. Using desiccated liver supplements or a high-quality B12 complex, using natural forms like methylcobalamin, not the synthetic cyanocobalamin, honors this 1926 protocol. Therefore, we build robust oxygen-carrying blood not by forcing raw iron into the system, but by nourishing the bone marrow with the complete spectrum of nutrients it craves. This brings us to protocol number 3. A powerhouse for those of us dealing with the aches and pains of aging joints. This remedy was so common that there was likely a bottle of it in every single American kitchen in the 1920s. Yet today it's often dismissed as old folklore. We are talking about cod liver oil. Today, if you have arthritis or joint pain, you are prescribed NSAIDs or painkillers. These work by silencing the pain signal, but they can also damage the stomach lining and kidneys over long-term use. The doctors of 1926 used cod liver oil for rheumatoid arthritis and tuberculosis. They used it because it creates a systemic anti-inflammatory shield. Think of your joints like the hinges on an old garden gate. When they get stiff and squeak with pain, taking a painkiller is like wearing earplugs, so you can't hear the squeak. You haven't fixed the hinge. You just ignored it. But taking cod liver oil is like applying a high-grade industrial grease to the hinge. It physically lubricates the mechanism and reduces the friction and inflammation that causes the squeak in the first place. We now know this works because of the high levels of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, a naturally occurring vitamin A. This is different from standard fish oil. The liver source provides that extra fat-soluble vitamin punch that is crucial for immune modulation. Therefore, by reintroducing this liquid gold, we aren't just masking pain. We are feeding the joints the specific fatty acids they need to lower inflammation and move freely again. We are getting closer to the top. Hack number 2 is a fascinating look at how we can energize our cells at the deepest level. Do you feel like your battery just doesn't hold a charge like it used to? Fatigue in seniors is often dismissed as normal aging. But biologically, it's often a failure of the mitochondria, the power plants inside your cells. 2 remedies from the 1926 book address this directly, though one is quite controversial today: niacin, vitamin B3, and methylene blue. Methylene blue was the first synthetic drug, but it acted differently than modern drugs. It served as an electron donor. Think of your mitochondria like the engine in your car. Over time, the spark plugs get dirty, and the fuel doesn't ignite cleanly, leading to a sluggish ride. Niacin acts as the precursor to NAD, which is essentially the spark that ignites the fuel. Without it, the engine floods. Methylene blue, historically used for infections, is now being researched for its ability to bypass damaged parts of the engine and keep the energy running. A critical note here: methylene blue is a powerful substance and interacts with many medications, especially antidepressants. This is strictly something to research and discuss with a forward-thinking doctor, not to experiment with alone. However, niacin is widely available. It was used to improve circulation and blood fat profiles. By supporting the body's ability to create NAD through niacin, we are essentially cleaning the spark plugs of our cellular engines. Therefore, the result isn't the jittery energy of caffeine, but a sustained, clean burn that helps with mental clarity and physical endurance. And now, we arrive at the most significant rediscovery of all. This is the one that was suppressed the most aggressively. In a 1972 medical text, doctors were using doses of this vitamin that would be considered toxic today to treat autoimmune diseases. What changed? What changed? We are talking about vitamin D today. The recommended daily allowance is often pitifully low, around 600 to 800 international units. Yet, back in the early 20th century and even into the 70s, medical texts documented using massive doses, up to 280,000 IU, to reverse conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and severe allergies. Somewhere along the line, the narrative shifted. Vitamin D, which is cheap and unpatentable, was pushed aside. But vitamin D is not actually a vitamin. It is a prehormone. To understand its importance, imagine your body is a massive, secure mansion representing your immune system. Most vitamins are like the furniture inside, but vitamin D is the master key that locks and unlocks the front doors and windows. If you don't have enough keys, which is the state of deficiency, you can't close the windows. And burglars like viruses, bacteria, and autoimmune triggers get in, or you can't open the doors to let the trash out. The 1926 Dispensatory and subsequent texts recognize that to control the immune system, you need full saturation of this hormone. Many modern functional medicine doctors are now circling back to this truth, recommending levels of 5,000 to 10,000 IUS daily for maintenance, not the meager 600 IU. They realized that the toxicity fears were largely overblown compared to the catastrophic risk of deficiency. Therefore, revelation number 1 is the understanding that optimizing your vitamin D levels is arguably the single most protective action you can take for your longevity, mood, and immune resilience. It is the foundation upon which all other health is built. And there you have it. Our game-changing revelation number 1. It might seem shockingly simple that a vitamin could be the most powerful tool in the box. But as we've explored, vitamin D is the master key we've been missing. So, we've covered a lot of ground today. We started with the flowing river protocol of digestive oils to keep our systems clean. We looked at the mineral grounding of magnesium to calm our nerves. We explored the rusty Hinge lubricator of cod liver oil for our joints. And we climbed all the way to the immune mastery of high-dose vitamin D. Each of these is a chapter from a lost book of wisdom, a stepping stone to a more vibrant, capable you. Now, I have a question for you. Which of these insights, perhaps it was the digestive reset of insight number 7, or the cellular spark of hack number 2, or maybe the grand revelation number 1, resonated with you the most? Which one are you thinking of discussing with your doctor first? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in the comments below. The wisdom of our community is just as important as the wisdom in these books. If you found this journey through the Lost Archives valuable, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps other seniors find our channel. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a strategy tailored for our fantastic group of healthy seniors. Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and keep thriving.